All right, New Year's Evil. Merry New Year, everybody. I just botched that so bad. I just tried to record this twice, and I changed my mind of what I wanted to do because I was going to explain my thoughts on The Rock and what JD and Just Alex were both talking about. But I decided I should do a Gump report on it because it'll be a lot more easier to at least roughly give their own point of views and what I think. So I was going to do it, but I'm not. I'm going to leave it, and I'll see if I can do a Gump report in the next couple of days. What do we got in New Year's Evil? We got a good opening for NXT. This is what we get for NXT. This is the opening for the brand, which is not a brand yet, even though they're acting like it is a brand. It is not considered, at least as far as I know, it's not considered a brand yet. They haven't officially stated, but doesn't mean they won't eventually. But it's a good opening for Shawn Michaels' own developmental. And here's the thing, and I got to say this, and this is not involving what I'm going to do with the Gump report. Hearing JD beginning to start talking about NXT and somewhat praising it for how they're building people up properly. I've been saying that for a while. But he wouldn't say it until Triple H was in charge. I've been saying it when Vince was in charge or when Triple H is in charge. It's still Shawn Michaels booking. So now he likes Shawn Michaels booking because he likes that Triple H is running it. That is not a bad thing. He has the right to think what he thinks. But let's make it clear. I've been reviewing NXT more than most people. So I know that Shawn has to do whatever Triple H or Vince told him to do. But he still made it work. This was Shawn's baby. So I kind of wish he would give HBK just a little bit more credit than just being happy that long-term bookings from Triple H. I'm just saying. Now, the first thing, we got the women's title match. Let's make this clear. It was only about 6 or 8 minutes long. It was 6 or 8 minutes long. I can't remember how long it was. It was around 6 to 8 minutes. Valkyria versus Davenport. And when I saw how short the match was and that it felt a bit rushed, honestly, I wasn't feeling it. Then when Paxley came out, and then when you had, who was the other one that came out with Paxley? All right, Lola Vice. Then Paxley came out, and it felt like it was not about Valkyria. I'm sorry, Lyra Valkyria has not really felt like a great champion, but she's not a bad one. But this didn't feel like it was really going to put her over. As a champion, wouldn't it have been important to have her at near the end of the show or maybe make it about her? It did. They put her in the beginning of the show because this was not about her. This was about Davenport beginning to build a feud with Lakita Lyons. This is about when it comes to many of the other women. So I'm kind of worried about Laura Valkyria, just a bit. I don't hate her, but having her here, I don't really agree with it. Now, the next match, which was the 6-man tag LWO versus the Corner Cut. Wait, what was it again? What did they call themselves? The Corner Catch Crew. Now, this is where it gets interesting. A lot of people thought that it was going to be Braun Breaker going to All Japan Pro Wrestling. No. It was Charlie Dempsey, who supposedly has gone to All Japan Pro Wrestling, and he's wrestling there. Interesting. I'm kind of surprised they didn't use Braun Breaker, but I do have something to say about Braun Breaker and Baron Corbin about what's going on with the Dusty Classic, and I will get to that, but it was Charlie Dempsey who went, not Braun Breaker. Now, the 6-man tag had Wild, El Toro, and the returning Carlito. There was no, I really thought it was going to be Dragon Lee with Toro and Wild, but it's Carlito. And this makes me think Carlito should stay in NXT. This is the first time he's ever been in NXT. It didn't exist when he was working there, and he left right when they were just beginning to do the startup, when they were doing those challenges. He was not there. So seeing that he's there would actually be interesting. I would like to see Caribbean Cool down there. Instead of being on the main roster, leave him in NXT because he was so loud. They were loud. That was the loudest next to Trick Williams that I've heard the NXT faithful. And I think that was a really good thing. But does that mean he will be there? I doubt it. But you never know. But they did win. And it was, who was the one who did the pin? I believe it was Joaquin Wilde got the pin on Kemp. Now, I'm not saying that Kemp and Wilde are going to have a match. Maybe. But this feels like this might be more about Carlito being there. I'm hoping he will. I wouldn't mind seeing him there because he's not really going to do much on SmackDown. Really. There's no Ray. Ray is still injured. He still hasn't recovered yet. So, there you go. Next, we got Ariana Grace versus a Roxanne Perez. I have to admit here, I'm not sure how far they're going to go with Roxanne in this new persona being not a bad girl, but a crazy girl. I don't know. Ariana Grace, I felt a while ago that they may like her enough to push her. Because there's something about Grace that I believe they're going to like. It's not just because she's a very beautiful woman. She has this beauty pageant type of feel. Legitimately, she does feel like a beauty pageant star. Like a, well, do I actually want to say Charmel type of character? Because she does feel like she could be a real, maybe she was a beauty pageant person, along with being athletic, but she kind of gives off a Charmel feeling. Kind of like what the King Booga had by his side. She gives off a feeling of that. And throughout the match, she acted aggressive, but she didn't stand a chance against Roxy. And in the end, when it was over and she won the match, Ariana told her, "You need help. You have a problem." And she gets pounded into the dirt, figuratively, and won the match. And that's Ariana Grace because the ref could not get Roxanne to stop. So, Roxanne is out of control. She's become incredibly aggressive and violent. Even Booker T was not happy about it when she lost that match because she refused to stop and went, damn it. That is his girl. Let's make it clear. And she is going to be showing up on Reality of Wrestling. Something that Vince would never normally do, they are allowing. Like Charlie Dempsey's going to All Japan Pro Wrestling. And Roxanne Perez is allowed to go back to Reality of Wrestling, a one-time thing for a special. I think that's actually good to see. That Booker T is being rewarded for his work and allowing someone that he personally trained, that he cares about, to go back to his development and promotion. Nothing wrong with that. Next, let's, what can I say about this match? I don't, one day, really, just one day. Let me give it to you like this. Fallon Henley versus a Tiffany Stratton. Who wins the match? Has to be like a servant to the other one for one day. Servant versus ranch hand. That's what they called it. But it feels like it needs to be more than one day. It needs to be at least a week. A week. It doesn't feel like it needs to be a day. It needed to be a week. And I'm going to be honest here. Because the way they were pushing Fallon, I did not expect her to lose here. I did not expect her to lose. I didn't expect it. And I was right. Fallon Henley was not losing. And if you didn't notice during the match, it wasn't the fact that Tiffany was messing up on purpose because she had to make it look good. But there were a couple of times during that match that I think Tiffany was not 100% fond of losing. Now, it doesn't mean she's not willing to play ball with another woman in wrestling. I know she does. She's not a bad talent. She's actually very good. Now, I don't know what the type of person she is. Usually, wrestlers are usually very friendly, at least the good ones. They don't screw up enough or screw up too much, and I can tell you 100% that from what I do know a little bit, she's not a bad person. She's nice. Likes to kind of show what she got, show her meat. But she's not a bad person. But there was 1 or 2 times during the match, which I know she had to make it look good and like she messed up, but she kind of had a look in her face like, I do not want to do this. At least once or twice. Like, it's not that I don't mind losing, but this gimmick I'm not feeling. That's the kind of look she gave. Does not mean it is. That's just my perception. But after it was over, she lost. And it was because she went to grab a chair, which she knows she can't do, to nail Fallon in the face because she wasn't able to beat her. That was the one problem with the match that I did not understand. Tiffany is not the type to be that pissed off that she has to get a chair. Yes, Fallon beat her before and she threw garbage on her, but Tiffany's a lot more cool and collected than that. So seeing that she had to get a chair does not fit her personality. It doesn't. This was not a hardcore match. This was not a street fight. This was not a steel cage match. She's always framed herself in how she does her matches. This did not feel right. Seeing her grab a chair because she got so pissed off and lost. It felt like it was forced. And that's why I think I got that feeling before that spot came where she had the chair. The ref took it from her and she got a shining wizard to the face. It just feels like that wasn't very good writing. Honestly. And I've never said that HBK does perfect writing. Now, he could have been ordered to do it or he did it himself. I don't care. I don't like it. It just didn't make any sense that Fallon had to do it like that. She could cheat. But to take a chair and blatantly try to whack it into... No, Tiffany, not Fallon. Tiffany, to take a chair and whack her in the face, it doesn't fit Tiffany Stratton. Hell, it doesn't even fit Fallon Henley. That's more like Kiana James. And here, Izzy Day, and Kiana James. They're now teaming together. I don't know what to feel about Izzy Day. Yes, she was from the Breakout Tournament, but I don't know about her. I'm not sure. She's got personality, don't get me wrong. She can talk great. I don't remember how much she went in the ring, though. She seems like okay from what I can remember. She's got personality. She can talk well. And she got boobs. More boobs than Kiana James does. But Kiana's beautiful. But the reason I brought this up, it feels like when it comes to Kiana James, working with Izzy Day, it's like they wanted to team up Izzy Day with someone, yes, that has more experience on the roster. But they wanted to make it more of not her personality, but her personality that'll eventually be used in some form or fashion as they develop her. So I'm wondering if that's the wisest thing. I could be wrong, and I don't mind being wrong. I believe she was a former volleyball player. I used to play volleyball once or twice in my life. Got a medal out of it, a small bronze medal. So she kind of reminds me of that. But I just have this feeling that, yes, she can talk. And if I remember correctly, she can go okay in the ring. And she has beauty. But I have this feeling that someone wants her to use her beauty eventually. Because of the way it felt in that interview. That's just me, guys. Tell me below. It's just me. Next, we got the last match in the finals of the Breakout Tournament. Riley Obbs. Let me give it to you like this. When you look at the vid packs for both of them, when you look at Obi Ufi, or Abu Ufi, seeing he came from Nigeria, seeing that he is special, that his name means power, sound good. When it came to Riley Osborne. He also looked good. And he also had something interesting to bring to the table as a member of Chase U. So when I was going into this match, I felt it was going to be Osborne. And to be honest, I think it should have been Osborne. Oba, I like Oba. He has personality in the ring. He's got great size. He's very strong. But do I believe he's the right one to get that? No, I didn't. To be honest, I believe it would have been Riley Osborne that should have won that because it would make more sense. Now, of course, I am going to talk about what happened with when it came J.C. James and what was talked about afterward, but honestly, I didn't feel like it was wise to do that. I felt that Osborne was a better choice than Ufi. And it just, something just doesn't feel right. Letting him have this is feeling like, it feels like they're trying to fast track him. Does not mean he'll win the title, but it feels like he's being fast tracked, and I do not agree with that. He has a good look. It's not about his accent. He has a good look. He does show personality in the ring. He shows a lot of power in the ring. But he has not even had his first feud yet. He has not even shown any major character yet. He's just all power. And in this situation, it does not always come across right. That's the reason why, at least with Osborne, there is personality. He's in a faction. He's working with Thea and Chase U, and it made more sense for him to win. But that's just me. Now, let's talk about Chase U. And pretty much they're happy that when it came to Osborne, he really gave a great effort. But then they were talking about the Dusty Classic. And when it comes down to it, and it's... Let me give it to you like this. Seeing Thea in basically smitten by him, it's going to be interesting to see how far they're going to go with Osborne. I'm about to say Osborne and Thea. But when you see J.C. James, who basically is taking the reins of trying to straighten out Chase U because Andre is still a mess, and he basically talks to Duke saying that we got to get ready for the Dusty Classic, and she says no. The only thing that you need to do is focus on getting the debt paid. You're not doing the Classic. Let Duke do this with Riley Osborne. You are not going to be in it, but I am going to help because I'm going to find a way to get this debt paid, and I'm going to be the one to pull it up out of the dirt and make Chase U what it once was again. So we're getting a J.C. Jane trying to either clean up everything so she can get the credit, or more than that, not just clean up to get the credit, but maybe take ownership of Chase U, because I have this strange feeling that's where it's going, that J.C. James is going to try and take over Chase U, because she's going to make it about her, and when she does, eventually when she helps clean it up, she's going to have the perfect right to say to the students, you guys want me to be the leader of Chase U, or do you want Andre, who made it the way it was? I think that's coming next, but that's just me. Now, 2 more teams that's going to be in the Dusty Classic. We're going to have Axiom and Frazier because they're teaming up. And then we did get Blade and Ufi. No, what was it? Ofi. I can't remember this guy's name. I always seem to get his name messed up. Obi. I forget it. The guy who works with Blade. I never get his name right. They get insulted a little bit because of what Frazier said, that him and Axiom are the best and ain't no real good tag teams. So next week we're going to have a teaming up with them against Blade and his partner, Amofi. I believe that's it. Or Emofi. Not Obi Ofi. Oh, I'm messing up so... You guys do not know. I am bad with names. If I hadn't been taught my name when I was a kid, I would not know it. But the final one that was talked about, they butted heads a little bit. Baron Corbin went to Braun Breaker, who did not go to All Japan Pro Wrestling. And they said, hey, let's team up for the Dusty Classic. And Braun is saying, really? You need me? You can't find anybody? You come to me and says, look, you're nothing but an egotistical ass. Is anybody teaming up with you? And he says, yeah. But you're the same way. And he says, yeah, I am. So the two egotistical asses should work together and we can dominate. And eventually, with a little bit of banter between each other, they both agreed. And now I think next week they will be trying it out. So I can say that it's good to see that Baron Corbin is working with a Braun Breaker. I'm actually not having a problem with that because they do have similar personalities. And this gives Braun a little bit more time to work with someone who's been in the main roster for quite a while and had been in, even if you don't like Baron Corbin, when he was doing all the Constable stuff, being the one who was running almost at the point of a Raw and then doing broke-ass Corbin and basically filthy rich Corbin or happy Corbin, the wrestling god Corbin. He did go through every iteration of any type of gimmick, which really would help Braun Breaker. Let's see. What do we got here? What else do we want to talk about? I'm gonna say this when it comes to Out of the Mud. They didn't sound bad. I actually do agree they do sound pretty good when they have scripts by their side. They do need work, but they didn't sound that bad. Scripts filled in the blanks for them. Then when it comes to the family, and what was the girl's name? I can't remember again. Tenora or whatever her name is, the female enforcer of the family of D'Angelo. Let me give it to you like this. Tony D'Angelo having a female enforcer is cool. Seeing that she's been there, they now just introduced her. I eventually knew they were going to do it. I just didn't know when, and it's good to see they are bringing in another female, and it's in their faction, and her Italiano, it's just terrible. I hope they drop it eventually because she just sounds so stupid. She doesn't sound like a New Yorker. I'm sorry. That type of Italian sounds like a New York Italian, and she don't sound like an Italiano. I'm sorry, no. She don't. So I hope she'll drop it eventually. Let's see. Is there anything else I want to talk about? Nope. I'm going to say it like this. The final match. Battle of the Survivors. Grayson Waller and Trick Williams. Let's make this clear. Trick Williams was tricked into that situation because of Mello. Because when they found out the Dragunov was not cleared to wrestle by Ava Raine, and I'm not going to talk about Ava right now, even though she is basically the errand girl for NHBK. That's all I'm saying. Dragunov cannot wrestle. They have to give him more time to recover, so the match will not happen, but Grayson Waller shows up. Grayson Waller started talking smack. And it's Mello that got Trick into that problem because Mello was not happy because there was no match. But Mello wanted a match. Mello was not telling a Grayson Waller, I'll take you on. Nope, he's saying that my boy Trick is going to be able to take you on. And in fact, he'll put up his title shot to do it. And that led to this match. And pretty much Trick is saying, why'd you do that to me, dog? And he says, I knew you can handle it. You got to be prepared for anything. Now, technically, he is right. Mello is right because sometimes things like this happen. And he should not be acting like a bitch. But it's Mello that did set that mess up. So Trick told Mello, all right, if it's going to be like this, fine. But I'm going to go to the ring by myself. I'm going to deal with this myself. Just like when it comes to Dragunov, I don't want you by my side. I want to do this myself. I want to prove that I can handle it. He doesn't say it like that, but that's what he's trying to lead to. And Mello doesn't take it well. And as the match went on, which was not that bad of a match, it was okay. And I got to say this. Next to Carlito, as I said, the one that was the most actively cheered for was Trick. And I got to say this. I wasn't really feeling it in the beginning when when Booker T was doing his whoop that trick, whoop that trick, I like it. I was not into it. But since the people are cheering so much, it grew on me. And it has grown on me because it's fun. I have no problem with it. And he is the most loudly cheered person in NXT right now. He's it. Yeah, there are other people there, but he's it. So the match was okay. But at one point, Mello comes out clapping, and Trick is saying, "What are you doing here?" He gets nailed, Trick, but the person that saves pretty much Trick Williams' butt is not Mello. It's KO with a broken hand, hits in the face a Grayson Waller, and Grayson gets pinned. And here's the thing. Why is it that the thing that made no sense? Because it looked like KO. Why did you have KO dress in ring attire? It looks like that's what he was wearing. He didn't look like he was wearing regular clothes. I could have been wrong because I didn't see it. I only saw him briefly, and I had to go to the bathroom right at that moment. I know he was going to do something. I found out later he basically decked him. But pretty much, if he wasn't wearing regular street clothes, why was he wearing basically his ring attire? I could be wrong though. Like I said, when I saw it, I saw him hit him, but I had to go and pay. But as I'm going, I hear Trick wins, and then I had to wait a little bit before, after I did that, and see a little bit of a replay to see if I missed anything, which I don't think I did. As far as I can tell, I didn't miss anything. Trick basically standing like this on the ring rope, and Mello's just staring at a hole through him, wearing his shirt on his hand and going like this. So I will tell you this. This was a good opening for NXT for the year. It was. I'm telling you right now, this was a good opening compared to Monday Night Raw. Let's make it clear. Monday Night Raw was great because of The Rock. I'm not telling you that it was 100% trash, but I'm telling you the truth. What made Raw great was The Rock. Flat out, day one was The Rock's show. But here, overall, with some things going on, like Paxley dealing with Valkyria, that little crazy woman who's horny for her. Even all that was a good showing for the beginning of 2024. But it's just me. Peace.